Okay, so once you guys have your graph, I'm going to show you really quickly how to make how to use Excel to find the correlation coefficient. So you're just going to put equals and then start typing in correlation. And you don't even have to type out the whole word. It's actually just CORREL. You're going to have to let it know the two arrays of data that you're working with. Array just means a list of numbers. So all you're going to do is put in your independent variable values there. Okay, all you have to do is click and drag and it will actually add them for you. Make sure you put a comma here. And then you're going to select this array of data. And then all you have to do is, so once you have that, selected, don't use your arrow keys like I just did, otherwise it'll mess it up. Go ahead and just hit enter and it will give you your correlation coefficient there. So this one is negative 0.10. So for this data, I would say that it has an extremely weak negative correlation. So there's a negative number here, so it's negative, but this is 0.1. And remember, the correlation goes between -1 and +1. Okay, the closer you are to 1, that means you're closer to having a strong positive correlation. The closer you are to -1, that means the closer you are to having a strong negative correlation. The closer your number is to 0, positive or negative, that means that you have a weaker correlation. So I would say this is an extremely weak negative correlation here. Okay, so let me change some of the data points and show you what more of a weak correlation would look like. Sorry, a stronger negative correlation here. So see, I've changed some of the numbers now in our correlation coefficient. If I were to add a trend line to this data, here we go, trend line. If I put a linear here, so it's going to be negative here. And now this correlation coefficient is getting a little higher. If I add some more data and bring it up like so, I can get this closer and closer to -1. So the stronger that the greater ability that this line has to actually go through most of these points, the better your correlation coefficient is going to be. Watch what happens if I bring up a couple of these points here. So what if I bring this up a little bit, maybe to right there. Let's bring it up even higher. How about 55? And let's see if I can find some of these people here. What if I drop these up to 53? Let's see if I can bring this point down here. So 56. Yeah, so see how we're getting closer and closer to having a line actually go through all these points. That correlation coefficient is getting a lot stronger now. So it's still negative, which doesn't affect whether or not it's weak or strong. That just means that there's a negative correlation. But it's getting closer and closer to -1, which means it's getting stronger and stronger. If I were to bring this point even closer, look at what happens to it. It's getting even better. So it just went from -0.86 to -0.877. So, okay, that's how you do that in Microsoft Excel. It's very similar in Sheets, I believe. Let me see if I can pull up something in Sheets. Okay, just going to create one here. So we'll do this very quickly. Just copy the data. Okay, so we're going to hit equals correlation. And actually, so be careful here. In Sheets, it wants the Y data first. So it wants you to put your dependent data first. So make sure you do that correctly, otherwise you're going to get it backwards. Okay, so -0.877 is exactly what this data says. So, okay, so that's how you do that.